Good morning, students. I welcome you to part 2 of the story Old Man at the Bridge by Ernest Miller Hemingway. Yesterday I had explained to you about the author, how the story originated, and I had also given you a brief summary of the story. Today I'll be reading this chapter from the book line by line, and I'll be explaining you it from the book, as well as I'll be giving you the meaning of the words which are new or are supposed to be unfamiliar to you, so that in future when you are going through the chapter or you are reading the chapter, you can understand what those words mean. Okay, I begin. Old Man at the Bridge by Ernest Hemingway. An old man with steel-rimmed spectacles and very dusty clothes sat by the side of the road. I discussed with you yesterday also in the summary that story revolves around a countryside. Countryside means a village, a rural area. Now, this old man is seen who is sitting at the side of the road. His clothes are dusty because he had been walking for a long time and a long distance. He is wearing a steel-rimmed spectacles. Steel-rimmed spectacles means they are curved in shape, curved, round, circular in shape, and his clothes are all dirty, and he is sitting by the side of the road. There was a pontoon bridge across the river, and carts, trucks, and men, women, and children were crossing it. I told you yesterday also that this story revolves around the Spanish Civil War, and if it is a war condition, people move to safer places to secure their life or to safeguard their life. So here also people are moving from the nearby areas. They are shifting and going to safer places. So they are migrating from here. They are evacuating the places from where they were supposed to be coming or they were living. So they are all in a hurry. They are crossing the pontoon bridge. Pontoon bridge, I told you, a floating bridge, a temporary bridge. So they are crossing the river, and they are going on the other side of the river to protect their families and themselves from the attack of the enemy. The mule-drawn carts, you all know mule, similar to donkey but a smaller animal, or you can say smaller in height as compared to a donkey, quite similar to an ass. Okay, mule-drawn carts staggered up the steep bank from the bridge, with soldiers helping push across against the spokes of the wheels. There are carts which are drawn by mule. Staggered means they are moving unsteadily because it's been drawn by the mule. They are not the road is not permanent, or you can say the bridge is not supposed to be a permanent bridge. So they are moving up the steep bank. Steep means sharp edges of the river bank, and they are moving from the bridge, and soldiers are helping the people to push those carts and go on the other side. The trucks ground up and away, heading out of it all. The peasants plodded along in ankle-deep dust. Trucks ground up. Ground means they are standing in line. Number of trucks are there, and they're all moving. They're filling the people. The peasants means the farmers. They're all getting into it. They're climbing up the trucks, and these trucks are now taking them to safer places. Plodded means they are walking with heavy steps. Why? Because they are tired. They are all covered with dust. They are dirty. The word says ankle deep dust. Ankle deep dust means all their feet are all covered with dust, and it's all dirty because they had been walking for miles and miles and kilometers and kilometers. So you're coming from a long distance. So they're all covered with dust. They are tired, they are exhausted, and now they are getting into the trucks, so that they can be taken to some safe place. But the old man sat there without moving. He was too tired to go any further. Now the young people, children, women, men, they are moving fast. They are moving, hurrying up so that they can be out of that place as soon as possible. But when you look at this old man, you can visualize in front of yourself, or in front of your eyes, you can see this old man extremely tired. He's very weak. He's exhausted. What happens? He sits down and he is not moving from there because he cannot walk any further. It was my business to cross the bridge, explore the bridge head beyond, and find out what point the enemy had advanced. Now this is the narrator. And who is the narrator? I told you yesterday also, narrator is supposed to be a soldier. He says, my business was what? To cross the bridge. That means to go on the other side of the bridge. Explore the bridge head. What is the bridge head? Bridge head means the end of the bridge, where the bridge ends and the road starts. And to do what? To see from there that till where the enemy army has approached or advanced. I did this and returned over the bridge. There were not so many carts now, and very few people on foot, but the old man was still there. Now because people are moving more, most of them have crossed the bridge and they have gone away. Few carts are moving, few people are there who are on foot. They are walking, crossing the bridge and going on the other side to get into the trucks, get loaded up into the truck and go to safer places. And in between all this, whom does he see? He sees an old man. He's sitting and he's still. He is not moving any further. Then the soldier goes to this old man and he starts talking to him. Where do you come from? I asked him. From San Carlos, he said and smiled. That was his native town, and so it gave him pleasure to mention it, and he smiled. The soldier went to him. He asked, where do you come from? From where are you coming? And with a big smile, the old man says, I'm coming from San Carlos. It's my native town. Native town, children, I told you, homeland, my birthplace. So you can see his attachment, see his love towards the homeland, his native land, because he's so happy to talk about it. You're always happy to talk about your house. You love your house the most because that is the place that belongs to you. You are the owner of your house. So he's also saying in the same manner. He's feeling so happy to tell him that, oh, that San, I come from San Carlos, and that place is supposed to be my house. I was taking care of animals, he explained. Oh, I said, not quite understanding. Now he said, what was I doing there in San Carlos? I was looking after the animals. But the soldier was not able to understand. What does he mean by looking after the animals? He said, okay, you were looking after the animals, because he was not able to understand such an old man. How will he look after the animals? Yes, he said. I stayed, you see, taking care of animals. He said, yes, I stayed, you see. I stayed means I was staying there and looking after my animals. I was taking care of my animals. I was the last one to leave the town of San Carlos. He's saying I was the last one to leave the town of San Carlos. He said, well, I was looking after my family, my animals. My family is supposed to be the animals I am looking after. He did not look like a shepherd nor a herdsman. Shepherd, you all know, children, a shepherd is supposed to be one who looks after the sheep. A herdsman is supposed to be people or men who look after cattle. So he's saying that he didn't look like one of them. Neither is looking like a shepherd, nor he is looking like a herdsman. And I looked at his black, dusty clothes. Dusty means all full of dust because he's been walking for so long. And his grey, dusty face. Grey means tired, dull. Grey doesn't mean grey color. Grey means the look of the face has become very dull because he's an old man, so it's looking very dull. It's all covered with dust. And his steel rimmed spectacles. Steel rim means circular. Have you seen Mahatma Gandhi's spectacles? They are round in shape and steel rimmed. So similar, he is also saying that he is wearing steel rimmed spectacles and said, "What animals were they? Which animals were you looking after?" "Various animals," he said, and shook his head. "I had to leave them." He said, "I was looking after various animals, different animals. But what I had to do? I had to leave my animals and come here because I was forced to do so." Now children, I move to the next page, page number 49. He further says, "I was watching the bridge and the African looking country of the Ebro Delta and wondering how long now it would be before we would see the enemy, and listening all the while for the first noises that would signal that ever mysterious event called contact, and the old man still sat there." Now the soldier is saying about the condition. He's saying, "I was watching the bridge and the African looking country of the Ebro Delta." Ebro is supposed to be in Spain. It is a river that flows between San Carlos and Tortosa. Those are supposed to be the places in Spain. So he's saying that I was looking after this delta region and I was wondering how long will the enemy take to approach. I was listening to each and every sound very carefully so that I can make out the first noise that would signal me that okay, the enemy has approached or they have reached the head of the bridge and now they are going to come or enter into their territory. And while I was moving around and doing all my duty, what I noticed that old man was still sitting there at his own place. He had not moved from there. He was not going anywhere, just sitting still there. So he again approached to the man and started conversing. Now what did the soldier ask him? "What animals were they?" I asked. Old man said, "There were 3 animals all together," he explained. "And what were those? First, 2 goats, second, and a cat, and third, and then there were 4 pairs of pigeon." "And you had to leave them?" I asked. "Yes, because of the artillery." I told you what is an artillery. When you have war taking place and cannons and big guns are being used, heavy firing takes place. That is artillery. So he is saying that these were my animals and I had to leave them. And what reason did he tell the soldier that why he had to leave it? "The captain told me to go because of the artillery." Yesterday I told the word, major. The captain, the head, told me that I have to leave my place, my animals, because of the artillery. The attack is taking place at any time. I can be hit because of the attack. "And you have no family?" I asked. Now this "I" refers to the soldier. Watching the far end of the bridge where a few last carts were hurrying down the slope of the bank. While I was talking to him, I was also looking, I was keeping a watch on the bridge to see whether everybody is gone or not. So I noticed there were few last carts which were left, and they were also going down the slope of the bank quickly. So I asked him that, do you have any family? No, he said. Only the animals, I stated. Who is supposed to be my family? The animals I am having. That is the only family I am having. Otherwise, I have no other family. The cat, of course, will be all right. A cat can look out for itself, but I cannot think what will become of others. Now the old man says that I know it very well, and I am quite sure the cat must be alive. It can look after itself very well. The cat is supposed to be very smart. Why he is saying for the cat? Because cats are first of all very smart animals, and above all they are so flexible that they can hide themselves in any kind of place. Because their body is so flexible, they can get into any opening, any space where they can protect themselves from the attack of any other enemy or animal or any human being. So he's saying that I'm sure the cat is very smart. It will protect itself from all the attacks and from all the problems. But what about the other animals? He said, no, what will become of other animals? But that means what will happen to my other animals? What politics have you? I asked. What politics means? Are you related to some politics? Are you concerned about politics? Do you know anything about politics, about the war and all these things? So what the old man has to say? I am without politics, he said. I am without politics means I am not concerned about the politics. I am not concerned about the governments. I am not bothered about what the government is thinking. Why are they having the war? What is the reason of the war? Why are they fighting? He says, I have no interest, neither do I know about them. He says, I am 76 years old. I have come 12 kilometers now. And I think now I can go no further. He's saying I am 76 years old. I have walked 12 kilometers on my foot. And now I'm so tired and exhausted that I cannot move any further. This is not a good place to stop, I said. If you can make it, there are trucks up the road where it forks to Tortosa. That's a Spanish word. That is why the pronunciation is Tortosa. Although the spelling written here says Tortosa, but when you speak in Spanish, the correct pronunciation, it should be Tortosa. He says, the soldier says to the old man that this is not a good place for you. This is not a safe place for you. Don't wait here. Go across the bridge. On the road there are trucks which are taking people to safer places. They're going to safeguard them, and they are moving to Tortosa, where you can save yourself when you can be alive. This place here can be attacked by the enemy any moment. Now see what the old man says. I will wait a while, he said, and then I will go. Where do the trucks go? Towards Barcelona, I told him. I know no one in that direction, he said. But thank you very much. Thank you again very much. He says, I'll wait for some time and then I will go. Now where exactly are the trucks taking the people? He's saying they are going to Tortosa or to Barcelona. That's the place, another place. He's saying the people are being taken by the trucks to these safer places so they can be protected from the attack. As the enemy is not going there, it's coming here to this place. So we need to protect you. He says, I know no one in that direction. That means I don't have anyone there whom I can interact with. I have no family member there, I have no relative there, I know no one out there. That direction is totally unfamiliar to me, totally new to me. But then he also says that I am thankful to you for being so considerate, for thinking about me, for taking care of me. He says no, see there, the last line says, thank you again very much. He's saying thank you very much for being so considerate and helpful. He's saying I'm really thankful to you. He's showing his gratitude to the soldier for being so considerate about this old man. Today, children, I'll stop here. Tomorrow I'll be doing the last page, that is page number 50, as well as I'll be ending the story tomorrow in your third part. After that, I'll be giving you question answers to do so that you can just review the chapter again.